Hey everybody, in today's video I'm going to talk about Power Query and how to duplicate queries and when you want to just reference them. So in this example I've got a query that I set up to pull in stock prices for multiple tickers. It goes through a folder where I've downloaded data from Yahoo Finance, and in this query it consolidates all that information. So I've got tickers for multiple stocks here. I've got the data that you would see on Yahoo Finance. And so let's assume that I want to create a separate query just for Apple stock, right? So what you may be tempted to do in this case is to right click and just duplicate this query. So now I've got another one, and in this one I'm just going to filter just for Apple because I don't want to disrupt this other one. I want to create a separate one for Apple where, let's say I want to look at the, largest closing price within that period. I want to remove some columns, right? So my end goal is for the query to look different than the one I have here. Now, the downside of creating a duplicate query is that I'm still including the same steps and all that code from that first query, right? Which went through all these different transformations and all that. So this query here is doing the same thing. It's repeating itself, right? So unless you actually need it to repeat those steps each and every time, and you may need to, depending on what you're doing, then you can avoid doing that by just referencing the query instead of duplicating it. So I'll show you how to do that. So I'll right click and delete this one, and now I'll go back to this original one and right click reference this time. So by creating a reference, now you'll notice I just have this one step and it's referencing this query. It gets me the end result of this query. Another way I could do this is right click, new query, other sources, blank query. And here I can just type equals stocks, the name of this query. And it gives me the exact same data as if I were to do it this way. So the point I just wanted to show you here is just like an Excel formula, you're referencing the name of what you want, in this case the name of the query, and it's giving you the end result of that. So it's giving you this same output here, whether I do it through the right click reference or whether I create a new query. The point of this is that you can easily reference it however you want. And now, because I don't have all those steps, it's going to be a lot more efficient for my query because, if you're duplicating queries, then what you're asking Excel to do is run through all these steps each time for all these queries. And that can slow down your file and make it take a lot longer when you go to refresh the data. So what I can do here now is still do the same steps as before. Sort in descending order, and then remove the columns that I don't need. And that's a whole lot simpler, just these 4 steps, as opposed to adding those 4 steps onto this query. So that can save me time and make the file a whole lot smoother and easier to work with. So the key thing to remember, you only want to duplicate queries when you absolutely need to repeat each and every step. Otherwise, you can reference them, and an easy way to do that is just create right-click reference instead of right-click duplicate. And you can at any time reference a query easily. Like here, if I created a new step here, you see it references this hashtag removed columns, which is that. But if I change this to say stocks right there, again the name, I'm pulling in that field. So I sort of hijack these steps, and instead of building off the previous one, I can link to that specific one. So I could still reference that one however I want. So if you wanted to do some sort of calculations using that query, this is how you could still reference it and include it into this one. So whether you're manually writing in the equals stocks or right-clicking reference, there's a lot of flexibility with how you can reference these queries. So just wanted to show you that to make your queries run a bit smoother. So hope you found this video useful, and thank you for watching.